I'd like to welcome everybody back to Alabama Care today. We are in Plantersville, Alabama. I've never been to Plantersville before.
Yep.
It's about an hour south of Birmingham. Nice little drive, see the countryside. And we have Mrs. Hannah Wilson. You guys know Mrs. Wilson from previous broadcasts. But Mrs. Wilson put on what you guys are seeing behind us today. And I'd like her to talk a little bit about that and what we're doing here today.
Yeah, so, well, the reason behind it is last year we took do I need to look at you?
No, you camera me. We're just having a conversation.
So we took Charlie to a pumpkin patch last year, and it was kind of hard. Like, she couldn't do the hayride, and it wasn't fun. There wasn't really anything for her to do. So I thought about this earlier in the year, but I didn't know if it would happen, but it happened for sure. So I just wanted a place where, well, first off, an accessible hayride, and then just different things that her and other kids could just do and participate in and actually like have fun. So that's what's going on.
And that's what you guys are looking at behind us. Now, the title for today is A Very Special Fall Festival. And how long ago did you start really working on this? I know you mentioned it was about a year ago that it hit you where you're like, I want Charlie May to be able to go on a hayride, but how long did you really start planning for this?
So we did an egg hunt, like whenever, was that March or April? I don't exactly remember. So right after that, I thought about it. And then I started working on it. I don't know, it's because I had to like book everything super far in advance.
Yeah.
Like in the summer sometime. I've been planning it since this summer.
And how many vendors are here? How many tents?
Oh my goodness.
And give us some examples of what is available for activities.
Yeah, so a bounce house. Well, okay, also it's for the kids and their siblings. Like, I wanted it to be like a safe environment for these families and not to worry about people staring and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just a safe place for everybody. And then so a bounce house for the kids that can do it, and then a petting zoo. And there are some teachers here doing arts and crafts. And
you got a balloon guy back there.
Yes, a balloon guy.
He's getting a lot of attention right now.
He is, and the tattoo fairy, and both of them, they're the same ones that do Tim Tebow's A Night to Remember, so I thought that was really cool. So they're used to like the special needs community.
Yeah.
And then also there's some people, I'm not sure what it's called, but they have a music program at a special needs school. And then ADRS has is that what it is? Department of Rehabilitation Services.
ADRS is here?
Yep.
They sure as heck are.
Yep, and then there's lots of games and lots of prizes, and then and then the sign I'm so proud of. So at most fall festivals, they have a sign that says "How tall this fall," and so it's okay. Well, some kids can't stand up. So that one says, on your feet or in your seat, what fine line does your head meet? And each one has like awesome or wonderful, so they can go up to it and be like, I'm awesome.
I saw that. I was looking at that. And did you create that? Did you make it?
I did, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then also we have a food truck, and all the food is free. I wanted it to be like special needs families, they have so much going on anyway, and so I just wanted it to be like super relaxed. And pumpkin patches are so expensive, so there's free pumpkins.
Yeah.
So
it's like $15-20 to get into some of these pumpkin patches. You're paying like $10 a pumpkin. And so all the pumpkins here are free.
Yep.
Now there are and you guys can't see with the parking lot here, but there are quite a number of cars, and I'd bet to say there's probably 70 people here right now.
Yeah.
How far do you think some of the families traveled?
I'm really not sure. Probably, like, it started off just for like local, like Chilton and surrounding counties, and then it expanded a little bit. So I'm really not sure.
I bet it's so close to 2 hours. I bet some family, we came from an hour away. My aunt came from about an hour away.
Oh yeah.
So I bet it's about an hour,
I'm so
2
proud
hours
that she's
there.
here.
But putting all this together, I know you've had a few months since the summer, but to get everybody to buy in, what did that look like? Let's say a mom or a parent was wanting to do an event, and they weren't sure where to start or really how to start asking. What would you kind of say to them, and what have you learned through the experience of putting this together?
So, well, technically, like, I have a dad that fully believes in me. And like whatever, like if I have this random idea, he's on board, he thinks it's a good idea, so that's a really good feeling. So he fully supported me going into it. And then I, like my mother-in-law, and then I thought of a few other things, like the balloon guy and the tattoo fairy. I thought about them last minute. I was like, oh, I can't ask my dad for anything else. I don't want to because he's doing too much. And so she got them to come. And then also I have a friend, her husband bales hay, and so he was gonna get us some hay. And then Garrison's Farm, I think it's called, they ended up donating all the hay and then even giving us a $200 donation. And so we paid the bounce house off with that this morning.
Yeah.
And then, so let me think. And then we had a friend that lives down the road for us. She did us some really pretty flower arrangements for the table because she wanted to help out. So.
Now, did the hay bales, were they dropped off with the pumpkin faces on them?
No.
You guys did that here?
Yes. And I was supposed to do that like way ahead of time, and then it was kind of late. So my husband ended up doing it for me, and then I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, what did you do? So my pumpkin's missing a nose.
I didn't pick up on that. I think it looks great. So kudos to him for doing that.
Thank you.
Now you also have ADRSs here today. How did you reach out to them personally?
Well, so the same lady that put me in contact with y'all, it's her.
Okay.
And so she came, and then they sent they sent a lot of goodies and stuff like that to give away.
Gotcha. So that was kind of a no-brainer there. Just get together, and I love that they're doing the community outreach as well.
Yeah.
Because there may be some families here that don't know
Right.
of ADRS and what services are available.
Right.
So all around,
Yeah.
awesome event.
Thank you. Yeah, and then the music people. My niece Elena, she's Miss Leeds Area Outstanding Teen or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew the people who are doing the music, and so they were happy to come, and I was so glad.
Yeah. So is this going to be a recurring thing next year?
I hope so, but it's kind of a funny feeling to just like have an idea, and then to people like they're excited about it and they want to do it. So that's a good feeling.
Well, it's been a big thing. Like for my aunt with the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
we had to cut back on some of her community outings. She used to go to Lakeshore every week, get in
yeah.
the pool, that kind of stuff. And so we wanted to cut back to make sure she didn't get sick.
Yeah,
but
right.
these outdoor events, this is kind of the first time in like the last year that she's been able to be outside in an event
Yeah.
around other people.
Yeah, and
She's been smiling since she's got
Oh,
here.
good. And I also had these stickers made, and it says, Charlie's wearing one, and it says social distancing. So it has a pumpkin on it, so it kind of stands out. So if people do want to keep their distance, it lets them know, like, okay, well, don't come too close.
That's a good
without
idea.
them having to sound kind of rude or something.
Yeah, I like that. I think we should probably use that more often. Everybody should be using that in schools.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So we have a few other people that are going to join us on the broadcast today, and we're going to keep going live, but we will, would you mind running and grabbing them, and then we'll kind of finish up at the end?
Yes, I sure will.
Give us a few minutes, and we'll have our next guest on with us. So next up, we're going to have some teachers that are out here today donating their time, and I think they are the ones doing the arts and crafts. We're just going to ask a little bit about what the event means to them and what they're seeing with the family and the students here at a very special fall festival. We'll go ahead and cut off the audio until. Thank you both for taking the time out of your day to be with us today. So we are Alabama Care, and we're just broadcasting live. We do disability events and broadcast for the community. And if you guys could give us a little bit of background, introduce yourselves.
All right, I am Elena Flo. I'm a speech language pathologist, and I work with the school system and have been for the past 13 years, and serve a variety of children and special needs. I've also am trying to get my foot in the door doing a little bit of private practice, so events like this are always good to see and meet people and connections and things like that. Plus, we love it.
Now, how do you know the Wilson family? Are you familiar with Charlie May?
Yes, she is in Miss Jessica's class, and then I have been the speech therapist that's gone in and served her for that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here today. Miss Jessica, if you would introduce yourself.
Jessica Anderson. I am currently a preschool teacher at Jemison Elementary for the inclusive preschool classroom there that serves 3- and 4-year-olds for how long have you been there?
In Jemison?
Or the county has been serving the inclusive preschool for probably many years.
Yeah.
But it's a mixture of children with special needs and typically developing peers. I've been actually in the school system for 19 years. This is my 19th year. But I haven't always done preschool. I have a general education background and a master's in speech and an early childhood. Oh my gosh.
So you guys vibe on speech.
I didn't
there.
say speech, no.
She
not
didn't mean speech. She's special ed.
Oh, okay, I got you there.
And early childhood also.
Now tell us a little bit about the inclusive classrooms, some of the benefits and maybe some of the challenges that a parent might not be thinking about yet if they have a 1-year-old son or daughter. I know it's kind of a wide range there.
Well, the classroom setting is for those that the school system is required at age 3 to provide services if they qualify for special education services. The classroom is a setting for those who are developmentally delayed in 3 or more areas. So like if they need 3 services like speech, special education instruction, and like OT or PT.
Okay.
So since they have multiple areas of needs, the classroom setting is just the easiest to get it.
Way to receive those services.
Yes. So it's not necessarily for all that have an IEP at age 3, but it gives them the mainstream interaction with the typical peers.
Yeah, I think that's so important for both the individual receiving services and the one that is not. The earlier that we all get to be around each other and experience each other, the more accepting society is as a whole.
Oh yes, I mean, well, the kids don't know. I mean, it's and it's really just like it would be in school, because in school age, they're embedded and included also. So it's really no different than that. Sometimes they're pulled out more in the K through 12 settings, but for the most part, they don't see, the kids don't know. But the typicals can get them to do things that we can't.
Like peer support, almost
peer
kind
model,
of
yes.
peer pressure a little bit too. Peer pressure can be bad in a negative way, but if you see somebody else doing it, you're like, I want to do that too. It's kind of a pack mentality. With getting a puppy, if you have an older dog, it kind of teaches them how to do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, we use them for
all sorts
modeling,
of
I'm sure.
Good speech and language. It's amazing to watch the other children see somebody else doing it, and because they said it, they'll say it for them, even though I'm sitting there trying to get them to do it, and I'm like, tell them to do this, and they say it, and the kid will do it. It's kind of interesting to watch that happen. But
you see that sometimes because we all have limiting beliefs in some areas, and if you see somebody else that's similar to you doing that, it's like, well, I can be doing that.
Right.
I can ride that roller coaster or whatever that is.
Right. They relate
We've
to
seen
each
it
other
a lot
very well.
in the lessons. She would come in and do language lessons, whole group. So we feed off each other well with our
it gave us a chance to collaborate, and then a lot of what I was doing with them, she could see it because I was in her room and carry that over for the times that I wasn't able to be in there. So that was a really good setup.
How big is the class? How many students?
9 on roll, but about 8 come
per day.
the
They kind of
largest.
some of them
Consistently
come
per-
different days depending on what their IEP has. So,
Yeah.
but on an average day, 7 to 8 probably.
That's a lot of good time on the ratio is not like a 1 to 30 there, so you're able to meet the needs of the child pretty well there.
Yes, it's several times this year, last year, that one typical girl was doing a lot, but this year this is her second year, the typical, and now she's just taken over, like, you know what I mean, like
They become the leaders and teachers
she'll
of the
hold
room.
the hand when we're walking down the hall, like she already knows, do you want me to help with this, do you want me to get this?
I wonder if she's going to follow in your guys' footsteps and become a teacher.
She
No,
might.
she
And
might.
kinda
She's
give back there.
a little bossy thing, but we've been working together for many years, not just in the classroom.
So do you feel like a lot of the students from that class may be here today? Have you seen them?
Yeah. And it's interesting, the ones that we've had in the past are now grown out here, so that's fun to watch too, because we just have done preschool, so they grow up and then we lose, not lose complete connections, but we don't see them all the times. When I see them here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had them as a preschooler, look at them now. So it's really fun.
I feel like I need to go back to my high school and say thank you to a few teachers because not enough people do that,
Yeah.
What would you say kind of the benefits of today, being outside in a fall festival that is a very inclusive place, but kind of highlights people that receive services and disabilities? What would you say is great for them and their families here today?
just think it's so important that, like, I brought my children with me today, my personal children, because I want them to see this and I want them to understand and accept other children. And I just think it's so important that these families feel included in these types of activities. And kind of talking back about the preschool, there are certain children who can't go to other preschools because they have things that, you know, they're not equipped to deal with, and so you find them just kind of left with nothing, which is why our classroom is so great, because we are able to give them that. It's kind of the same way here. They might go to a fall festival, but they are kind of limited on what they're able to do there, and so having this where it's completely adapted for them is, I love everything about it.
I've said a few times on broadcasts that when you go to develop a product, whatever that product, maybe it's a phone, but if you develop for those that need extra services or special needs, it's more accessible to the broader society there. So focusing on a very inclusive fall festival, but then allowing everybody else to join in kind of sets that foundation there.
I think it's important too that these parents get to connect with each other,
Yeah.
and to connect with all of us that are so supportive. This is a group of people that understands, and I think that's important to surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah. Miss Jessica.
Yes, definitely. Well, to touch on what she was talking about with the families, and it allows them to see us in a different role other than just in the classroom, because that is the big key, is the collaboration between the families and, you know, and us,
The teachers,
because
the
we can't do
parents.
it without them. But just to know that we're there for them, you know, regardless.
Yeah, not just during classroom hours. We're
Yes.
always supporting
Yes.
them, and you know,
Yes.
this is our love and our passion. I would be here no matter what.
I remember the first time I saw my teacher outside of school, I was like, you exist outside of the
Yeah,
classroom?
I know, they
Yes,
think that
yeah.
we don't.
Like,
It's
you're
always
actually pretty
funny.
cool
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you very much for spending time with us today and kind of giving us a different perspective on everything that's going on.
And I actually
so
live
much.
here in Maplesville, so, and Hannah is a cousin of mine.
Okay.
Just, well,
That's
we
what
have
happens
a-
when you're in a small community.
Yeah.
Everybody
We
kind of
have
knows
a-
everybody.
we have a large family, so.
Well, I love it out here. There's a
Lots.
lot of land, and you know, living closer to Birmingham, it's sometimes it gets a little bit too much city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to get out in the countryside a little bit.
Where do you live?
In McCalla. So it's far enough, it's like in between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. It's far enough away from the big city,
Right.
but close enough if I want to go downtown to get something to eat. It's like half hour away.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
But I grew up on a farm, so coming out here reminds me of growing
It
up.
just brings me
Yes.
back home. I love it.
Well, she's live in Calera, but
I live in Clear on
you
a.
about have your own farm.
We like to call it that. It's really not. We're terrible farmers, but we have a lot of land and a lot of chickens.
Animals.
So, yeah.
Turkeys.
Turkeys. Yeah. So we're trying, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
And we'll go ahead and turn off the audio, and we'll bring in our next guest. All right, audio's back on.
Spelled it right.
Did I really?
Yes.
It's not with a Y, it's with an I?
It's just ALI.
Well, we would like to introduce Allie to Alabama Care today, and we are once again at the very special Fall Festival. And tell us a little bit about why you are here and what today means.
I am Miss Shelby County's Outstanding Teen, and in March I'll be going to Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen. And for my social impact initiative, it's Make a Joyful Noise, which is music education for students with special needs, because I feel like special needs students are almost overlooked when it comes to music education, and they're genuinely so happy when they're playing the instruments. So I feel like they should all have the opportunity to be able to play instruments and just be genuinely happy all the time.
Now, is this like a topic that you pick when you go to your pageants?
Yes.
So you get to sponsor basically a topic there?
It's for like community service and just your social impact, and you get to go all over the state and do it with a bunch of people.
So do you have a connection or why a passion for special needs and disability?
Well, I've been singing and I've loved music ever since I was 2 years old, and multiple people in my family work with students with special needs, and so I kind of almost combine that, and ever since I was little I've just had such a heartfelt with students that have special needs, and
Yeah.
so I just felt like they should all have the opportunity to play music, because when they are, and just like over there, when they're playing instruments, they're genuinely so happy, and it makes them so just fulfilled.
Yeah, it gives them joy. Like it's an extension of yourself when you're able to, beat a drum and hear that, coming that
Yeah.
feedback back. So you really have experience with the community from growing up. Your family members work with some of the community there. So I think that's really important. And we were just talking with some teachers about inclusion in the classrooms, especially early on. And how that can benefit society as a whole. Instead of seeing somebody in a wheelchair for the first time and saying, this is new to me. I'm kind of going to stand back a little bit, but to grow up, inclusive there, it kind of brings everybody in together. So you've been singing since 2 now. Are you currently like making an album?
Not currently, but I am singing around places and getting to do the national anthem at certain places, and I love it. I'm hoping to let it grow and hopefully get to that point at some point, but I love it. Awesome.
Now with the singing, are you going to, what kind of events are you singing at?
I have sang at baseball games. I'm hoping to be able to sing at my football games because I'm a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to be able to get a bigger platform and get more well known and possibly sing at the football games, the national anthem, and I sing at churches quite often, and I like to volunteer at places to sing too because I love to just also spread the platform and let people know about singing and music.
Yeah, and the platform there, is there a specific thing that you would recommend people donate to or support?
Right now, I'm actually working with a certain organization in Chelsea, Alabama, and it's a nonprofit organization, and they bring people in for a few hours a day, and they play instruments with them. And so right now, currently, I'm making ornaments for Christmas and selling them, and all the money is going to go to their organization to where they can buy more instruments and hopefully open it up to a good bit more people. But right now I'm going to start going over there and playing the instruments with those people, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, kind of lead that discussion.
Yeah.
We did a drum roll circle at ADRS, and there were probably 50 kids, maybe all high school age, just loving it.
Oh, yes.
Everybody got there. It was like a bongo. It wasn't like an
Yeah.
actual drum set, but everybody was loving it there, and it was something to see. Now, upcoming events that you'd like to shout out, if anyone would like to follow you. Any upcoming events?
Yeah, so in March I'll be going to Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen. If anyone wants to come watch that, they're welcome to. Soon I'm hoping to possibly get some special needs students together and teach them some songs and let them play some instruments and hopefully having a performance. So if that comes into play, I'll definitely be putting that out there.
So we would love to, that's the content we love doing. If you do get that up and running, we would like to have you on the channel, the Alabama Care channel, where you can do it over the internet or Zoom, or if you're in person with a group of people, we can just go over the internet, or we can come down and record some of that and do it live.
Yeah.
But that's what the community likes to see. So, well, Allie, thank you very much for spending
you.
some time with us this afternoon.
Thank you so
much. And we wish you the
much.
best of luck.
Thank you.
So, and we'll go ahead and cut off the audio. Okay, welcome back, guys. We have Elena here, and Elena is the niece of Hannah Wilson. So she's very involved in the family. And Elena, I'd like you to introduce yourself and give a little bit of background.
Yeah, so my name is Elena, and I am Miss Leeds Area's Outstanding Teen. So like he said, Hannah is my aunt, and her daughter Charlie is my cousin. And I am the founder of Charlie's Chance, which is an organization for epilepsy awareness, which was named after Charlie.
And how long have you had that organization? So you've started that organization from the ground up.
Yes. So I was actually more involved in the epilepsy community before I really even started Charlie's Chance. So Charlie's Chance actually started this year, and we have had the opportunity to partner with the Alabama Epilepsy Foundation, and yeah.
Now, what exactly do you guys do? Is it spreading awareness? Do you go and talk to others about it? Or?
Yes, so I really have 3 main goals with Charlie's Chance: to educate the public on epilepsy, to advocate for patients that are suffering with epilepsy, and to channel fundraising into the epilepsy community.
Yeah, so that's amazing. I mean, such a young individual starting is a nonprofit 501c3. And,
yes, sir.
So raising awareness and funding around epilepsy there. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Now, you mentioned that you've had quite a bit of experience in the epilepsy community previous to Charlie's Chance. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to be a part of a fundraiser that the Alabama Epilepsy Foundation had at Topgolf, and we raised over $18,000 for the Alabama Epilepsy Foundation. And we also have the Walk to End Epilepsy November 6th at Railroad Park. So come out into the epilepsy community just to raise awareness, and it's at Railroad Park on November 6th.
What time should people start showing up? Or is there a page that you'd like to shout out where we can follow?
Yeah, so you can go to epilepsy.com really to get plugged in with your epilepsy community and just for more information on it.
And what would you say to maybe peers that are your age that have epilepsy from someone that doesn't have epilepsy? What would you kind of say to them?
You know, I think that there's this common misconception that epilepsy is rare, and it's just not. In fact, 1 in 10 people will have a seizure at some point in their lifetime, and 1 in 26 will eventually develop full-blown epilepsy. So I think that just breaking that stereotype of it being rare and just letting people know of that is really the first step that we can take.
And what would you say to somebody if they're around an individual that starts to have a seizure?
So you can actually, like I said, visit epilepsy.com to get your seizure first aid certification. It's a free course that you can take, and it gives you all the steps you need to take if someone's having a seizure, so that you know what steps to take.
Yeah, and I've always heard do not put your finger in their mouth.
Yes. No.
So because they can clench down on the jaw
Yes,
during
sir.
that seizure, so you
Yes.
wouldn't want to do that.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to say to family members or individuals?
Just again, breaking that misconception that epilepsy is rare. I think that that's one of the biggest things with epilepsy is just that stereotype with it. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I'm so proud of my Aunt Hannah. She's worked so hard to have this event today, and I'm just so excited to be here.
Well, Elena, I appreciate you spending the time with us this afternoon, and I wish you the best in everything in the future.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome job. All right. So my name is Alex.
Rhonda Pierce.
Mrs. Pierce, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk a little bit. Hannah and I are friends and work together, and she's put this on and invited us down to go live from it. But what would you say today's event means to families?
Kids with special needs, you got other kids around here that you know are just like yours, so you don't feel out of place, and they always set up things that they know that can have with the disability kids.
Now, are you familiar with some of the other families that are here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys have met each other kind of in the community.
Yes, sir. When they had the Easter egg hunt, we
Yeah.
met several of them, and then we go to school with several.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, this is your daughter?
My granddaughter
Granddaughter.
that I raised.
I know she's kind of out in the sun right now, and I feel the same way. I've been sweating since I got here. But what would you say to maybe other parents or grandparents that are a little bit nervous to get out in the community, and what events like these are able to help with?
It's all just one big large family. Everybody's loving and caring and concerned about your child, and it's just a giant family.
Well, I have a family member here today, and she's sitting over there in the shade, luckily. But she's 57 and receives services. And I was just telling Hannah, this is the first time that she's really gotten out in the last year or so because of the pandemic. It's been a very safe space, but a very welcoming environment where I know other families and individuals are going to be very open-armed.
Yes.
And very inviting there. So I think it's a great thing they got going on.
I do too, and like I said, it's good to get out here and talk to somebody else that's in the same position, and you find like early intervention over here.
Yeah.
Talking about how to help families and stuff like that, and she's got different groups here to support us.
Yeah, she's really brought in a list of great individuals and families and organizations that are all focused around the disability community. And I like how you said, being able to communicate with somebody that has your same life experiences.
Yes.
I think we all need that connection.
Oh, yeah.
And this can provide that opportunity.
I mean, at times you think you're alone, and you come out here and you see other people, and you're not alone.
Yeah.
We got on Facebook. We have a good support team. If anybody needs anything, anybody has a question, we're all there together to work it out.
Yeah, and you gotta be able to ask your peers. But I will let you go. I'm not going to keep you very much longer.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet y'all.
And I'm going to introduce myself if you don't mind. Did you get the burger or did you get the pulled pork?
Told her to get the pulled pork.
Yeah, I'm going to get the pulled pork too on the way home.
I mean, they both look good, but...
So give us a quick introduction for anybody that's unfamiliar with ADRS and your background.
All right, so ADRS is the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services. So we are a state agency, and we have multiple divisions. So starting with early intervention, which is birth to 3, Children's Rehabilitation Services, CRS, that's who I work with, and that is birth to 21. We do medical clinics, medical evaluation clinics. Vocational rehab services, looking at going into school or transitioning into the workplace, and also State of Alabama Independent Living SAIL, and that's looking at homebound services for folks who are homebound. We also have deafblind services, and even within deaf blind, we have something called Oasis, which even my mother uses for
This is vision loss, isn't it?
vision loss. She has macular degeneration, and they're teaching her right now how to deal with low vision, especially as it progresses. So while she has vision, she's being able to capture and learn some things that she needs to. It's great. So we serve the gamut, all ages across the state.
I was talking to somebody the other day and say, you live long enough, you're going to receive services eventually
Yes.
for something. So
Right.
you might as well be familiar with it.
Yes.
Now, we're on a weekend event today, and I wouldn't normally see or think to see like ADRS here at a fall festival, but this is something that you guys do throughout the year and being involved in kind of out of 8 to 5 events.
Yes. A lot of times you'll see our local offices participate in weekend events. And just because Hannah was having this and I really wanted to come, she said, hey, will you just come and bring some information? And I said, sure. And then I was like, okay, who else from ADRS wants, I don't want to just do CRS.
Yeah.
Just one division. And so EI, early intervention sent things. I have stuff on transition. So
Yeah, that's
just
amazing.
come.
I love
Everybody needs it.
I love how you guys are getting involved in not just like I'm waiting for a call, and then we'll schedule an interview and we'll schedule time together, but you guys are getting involved at the community level, at the grassroots level, and I'm sure there are individuals here that may not have heard of ADRS before.
Right. Some of the folks I was able to bring up things that they haven't heard before. Some of them are enrolled or have been enrolled and then left services when they received what they needed. So it's really good to just kind of connect and say, hey, but we do this too. We even just do information and referral.
Yeah.
We even just do care coordination.
Yeah, and I feel like you set up a booth here, and it's kind of like, so what questions do you want answered? And people come by, what it could be is like, like you said, an information and referral place for everybody that has those questions.
Definitely. Sometimes we joke and say we're the best kept secret around.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean,
and we don't need to be.
The services that ADRS as a whole provides the state and families and individuals is. We've done a number of broadcasts with ADRS. I still feel like we haven't scratched the surface.
Right.
So it's really amazing. What would you say to any individuals or families about the benefits of joining events like today and what events like today can mean for them?
I really this event hits close to home. My brother had special needs, and just being in an inclusive environment where things are, in mind for mobility, space, and just being around other family members and just seeing you're not alone. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think back to how much that would have benefited our family. It's so wonderful, but also being able to, I feel so grateful that we were able to come here, because if just one person gets one piece of information that helps them, even if it's to jump to the next agency that they need,
yeah,
then we've made a difference. But this is great. I hope to see it every year.
I was just talking to Hannah. I was like, you better have this every year.
Yeah.
This long, and I heard she's done the egg hunts and whatnot. So I think this is going to be a year-round event for every season that comes by.
Oh yeah, that's going to be great.
I hope to see you at the next one as well.
I want to be at all of them.
Well, I appreciate you sharing a little bit of information about us and supporting the community and everything you do.
So good to see you again. Thank you for all of the information that you get out all the time.
I appreciate that.
Enjoy your barbecue later.
Yeah, well, you too. Thanks again.
Y'all just like stand right there and watch me.
How you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing good.
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
And what's your name?
Bethany.
Bethany. It's nice to meet you.
You too.
And what's your name, sir?
Austin Brasher.
Austin. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You
And
too.
ma'am, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Bethany's mom. I'm Shelly.
Bethany, Austin, and Shelly. I'm horrible with names, so I got to write them down. So I just want to give some background about what's going on today and the benefits for family members. And if you would introduce yourself as well.
Yes, my name is Andrea, and my son Gabe is here playing on the bouncy house.
It's hard not to play on the bouncy house
Yes,
there.
it is.
Did you guys get to go into the bouncy house?
No, sir.
No, sir, not yet.
Do you want to?
No, sir, we don't.
No, sir.
No. It can be a little bit unshaky in there, so.
Yeah, she's not real stable footed, so.
Yeah.
And I got my niece.
I get too big.
Yeah, my knees start to hurt me too.
Yeah.
So what have you guys done here today that you've enjoyed? What's the most fun thing that you guys did here today?
Well, we do love getting tattoos.
Oh, wait, let me see that tattoo. Oh, heck yeah. Put it up a little bit higher. That looks like some stars there. Now, is that a permanent tattoo? And that one looks like a heart. Mm-hmm. Are those going to stay on forever?
They might rain off when we take a shower.
Those look pretty cool.
Look, our heart loves each other. Her heart, my heart, we love each other.
That is very cute. Congratulations to the both of you.
She went Team Bethany, though. Hers is because she's a rock star.
I love that though. That's great. And I sing too.
You sing. Who's your favorite artist?
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. Do you have a favorite song?
I do.
And which one would that be?
The Climb.
I'm not too familiar with Hannah Montana. I'll be the first to say that. So I'm going to have to look that song up.
Alright.
Did you guys get a chance to go on the hayride?
No, sir, not yet.
Not yet? So you guys got a little bit of activities yet to do here today. You get to pick a pumpkin for free, so you can carve the pumpkin during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys get to have any of the food yet?
Oh,
Yes, sir, we did.
We ate the barbecue.
You guys both had the barbecue?
Yes, sir.
And the banana.
The banana. I had banana pudding. She probably didn't like it, but it was alright with me.
You don't like banana pudding?
No, sir, I don't.
Well, that's okay. I think you got someone right next to you that does like banana pudding.
Yeah.
And did you guys get to see any of the animals today?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, you guys got a lot to do yet.
Yeah.
Now, what would you guys say to somebody that's thinking about coming out to next year's fall festival?
Well, that's so good.
Would you encourage them to come out here and it's fun?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you both for being with us today and sharing your experience. And I'm going to ask your mom a couple questions, if that's okay.
Yes, sir, that's fine.
And also Andrea. So, as parents, what would you guys say about today's festival and how it is inclusive for families? I'll start off. Shelly, if you'd like to.
I think it's amazing, and in our county we don't have a lot that's offered for children with special needs. So basically it's for all children, and we have to adapt. It's not adapted to our children, and that's what makes this special.
Yeah, it's like everything is set up for children that receive services, and that's kind of the groundwork there, and everything else is built on top of that, so it's very accessible. And as Hannah was saying, even the ride, the hayride is very accessible.
That's what I was going to say. You can go to the pumpkin patches, which they're wonderful places. I'm not taking away from them at all, but a lot of them don't think about it. And it's not that they're not willing to offer it, they just don't think about making it accessible that way.
Yeah, and that brings up, I've talked to quite a bit of people about the necessity of individuals that receive services to be on some of those higher level councils or boards when decisions are being made about building new sidewalks, because most people don't think about it right off the bat if they haven't experienced it or it hasn't directly affected how they maneuver around the city. And I went to another fall festival 2 weeks ago. Now that I think about it, when we got on their hayride, it was a step up. There was no ramp to get on.
Right.
And I'm sure that they would make
accommodations. Most definitely, I'm sure they would. They don't think about it because they don't have that issue to have to deal with firsthand.
And here, it's at the forefront.
Right.
And what would you say of meeting other families and having that community aspect?
Oh, I love that. Of course, we're fortunate that we know a good bit of people here. Of course, we don't know everyone, but I mean, it's always nice to be able to meet people, that have the same needs or
Have been through the same challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could possibly help each other by sharing your stories.
Andrew, is there anything you'd like to add?
I think we came out for the Easter egg hunt as well, and it's just a great place. Even if you don't know all the families personally, it's just good to be in an environment that everybody kind of understands and there's no judgment. To where we've been to local pumpkin patches, which of no fault of their own, but we've had our run-ins with other people there that just don't understand maybe the people that are there, what they're experiencing. So it's really good to have a place like this that you can come out and just be 100% comfortable and really enjoy yourself instead of stressing about what you may encounter or just trying to take care of everybody. So is really appreciated, especially in a small town.
Yeah,
Very much so.
and I know sometimes as you get a little bit further away from the bigger cities, it can be a little bit hard to get those services. And so to see this be a staple part of the community here. And as you mentioned, I have a family member here with me today. She's my aunt, and her caregiving team I manage. But part of the training process is always advocacy,
Right.
because she's nonverbal and she can't stand up for herself, basically.
Yep.
And so I get nervous sometimes when she's going into community settings where I feel like there could be a potential where someone tries to take advantage of her. And so one thing that is always in the back of my mind is if I'm not at that event with her, I have to make sure that whoever's on duty, I trust fully with her.
Right.
And here, I don't have any of that
I have
concern.
that concern.
And it also makes it hard to have a good time because
You're constantly worried.
you're constantly watching
Well,
them. Yeah.
right, and everyone here seems to be aware of children with special needs. They, it could be anything. Like my grandson was just diagnosed with autism, and of course he's only 3, and he pitches fits, and you tell him no, he screams, he throws his head back. In a normal setting, people would be like,
Yes. That's what we experience.
but everybody's
they don't have like a
used to it.
physical attribute for you to know that they
Yeah.
may not have special needs. A lot of people don't recognize that.
Yeah.
So, especially in young children, it makes it difficult. So.
they're like, what's wrong with your
Yeah.
kid?
Yeah.
Go take care
That's
of your
a lot.
kid. Go.
And it may be a little bit more noticeable for my family member because she's a little bit
Definitely.
older.
Right.
But her way of saying I'm not happy is to scream at the top of her lungs.
Yep.
Right.
And I'll be in the store with her, and people think I am killing her. I am, and
Right.
it's like this is her way of telling me that she's ready to
That's
go.
how she
Right,
communicates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here, that is everybody understands that.
Right.
So I think it's a great thing that the Wilson family is doing it and growing the community here. And I'm very glad that you guys have been here today and enjoyed everything that's gone on. So I'd
We're
like to
excited.
say, yeah,
We missed the egg hunt. I didn't even know there was an egg hunt,
It was great.
but we definitely won't miss it the next time.
yeah, you guys got to make sure to get your pumpkins.
Yeah, we're gonna go get pumpkins.
Yeah, we're gonna get pumpkins.
They're all really big pumpkins. There's no small ones, so
That's awesome.
I love them.
Lots of carving. Well, I'd like to say thank you everyone for joining us today on the cast, and we'll hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you
so
for
much.
having us.
Thank you. We're wrapping up here at the very special Fall Festival. I'd like to welcome everybody for taking time out of their day to see exactly what Hannah Wilson, Charlie May, and the family are doing here in Plantersville, Alabama. There are a few more events that they're going to be doing in the next 12 months. So please reach out to Hannah. She's doing broadcast monthly with us and ask about future events. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week.